I was actually traveling.
Damini might have to host till Prantik comes. You're on mute.
Okay, then until Prantik sir joins, a warm welcome to our panelists for today, Joydeep sir and Abhijit Deshmukh. Thank you so much. This is match number 52, Punjab Kings versus the Rajasthan Royals, and match number 53, Kolkata Knight Riders versus the Lucknow Super Giants. This is a cracker of a match today, super weekend. Gentlemen, let's talk about the first match, Rajasthan Royals versus Punjab Kings. Punjab Kings have won the toss and chosen to bat. Joydeep sir, we'll begin with you. A good decision?
Yeah, I think so. I think this will be the trend going into the IPL because the wickets are tiring. They are getting slower and lower. A lot of cricket has been played on these 3-4 grounds. 18, 19 matches on each of this. It's taken its toll on the pitches. And as I often keep saying that it's just not the strip that you're playing on, but also the pitches in the square. Because when you play on one strip, you run on the other. The running between the wicket happens on the other ones. Fielders keep diving with spikes, so the covers at the mid wicket are on the square as well. Sometimes the catching cover is so. That's the reason why I think the wickets have taken it has taken a toll on the wickets. All this wear and tear, and going
Yes.
into the tournament, we will see that batting first and a bigger role for spinners and for the cutters and the slower balls, the faster bowlers who have good variation with their slower balls, they'll come into the upfront even more.
Okay. Abhijit, sir, I'll ask the same question to you. You know, the first 18 matches, we saw the trend that captains were opting to bowl first. But slowly and steadily, we are seeing that captains are, getting more confident in opting to bat first. Your take on Punjab opting to bat first today?
Uh, I think bit surprised. Because usually you would like to bat second when the view factor comes in. I mean, although it's a day game, but still, with the later part of the second innings, I'm expecting some due to that to be happened. But yeah, again, it's a good strategy. Like nowadays, like you take bat first, and then you put pressure on the team. But what I think is Rajasthan Royals is too good a team. I mean, it doesn't really matter for them much if they bat first or bowl first. The spinners going to play bigger roles. So I think if Punjab is going to as everyone else knows, like now the pitches are becoming slower and the spinners taking more wickets. So Rajasthan got Yuzvendra Chahal and R Ashwin. So I think it's up to them for the Punjab how big score they can put on. I think it won't be easy for them, especially with Yuzvendra Chahal and R Ashwin in good form.
Okay, it'll be an open house question now, starting with Joydeep sir, of course. We are talking about Punjab Kings and Rajasthan Royals, who in the recent times are having a bit of, the luck factor going for and against them, respectively. Punjab Kings coming from two comprehensive victories. One against the Gujarat Titans was something which, really had everybody talking. And Rajasthan Royals coming at the back of two consecutive losses, the recent one being against the Kolkata Knight Riders. So, going into this match, what do you think will be the mindset of the respective captains from both the teams? We'll begin with Joydeep Surfer.
Yeah, so I feel that in this tournament, everybody knows they're not going to win 14 games. You will have a few games which won't go your way. But what's important is how you bounce back. Now, some teams have got off to flyers, like Gujarat, like Lucknow. They've got off, and some are still struggling. 2 wins, 2 losses, couple of losses on the trot. We've seen RCB, we've seen Delhi, we've seen Sunrisers Hyderabad all being in the mix. So the ones that have got off to flyers are obviously sitting pretty at the top of the table. But the ones that are vying for the third slot, the fourth slot, the ones in 5 and 6 are all in that mix, who are winning a few, losing a few. That's been the trend. And that has always been the trend. You will very seldom see, even in the history of the IPL, one team winning 10 games, 11 games, because all the games are so closely knit. All the teams are so closely knit. So there is no one super favorite over here. This year, to even no more so, but even other years, no team could say that I'm the number one team and I'll definitely win 11 out of the 14 or 12 out of the 14 games. So that just goes to show how competitive all the teams are. And from taking a cue from that, I feel that yes, it is because this has been the template of the IPL. Two losses actually don't matter. You just got to play well for the next 3.5 hours. If you can control that, things go your way. Things can change very quickly. In this game, the game runs away from you very fast. If you go off to sleep for a couple of overs with bat, with ball, you could pay with it for the whole game. That doesn't happen in 50 overs. Definitely doesn't happen in days cricket. But here, even 2 overs can finish it for you with the ball at the bat. So that's the reason why I don't think these two losses or one loss or two wins matter. Yeah, wins bring get you momentum, but even with the losses, especially because these two teams have also played well. Mumbai hasn't played well, KKR hasn't played well, Chennai hasn't played well. But besides that, all the seven teams have had good games and bad games. So that is why they will feel that they need to control the next 3.5 hours and they'll be good.
Abhijit sir, coming to you with the same question, I'll just modify it a bit. How do you feel Mayank Agarwal from the Punjab side and Sanju Samson from the Rajasthan side will have their mindsets working going into today's game? How will they tell their teams to get on with this game?
I think the Sanju Samson things will be, not that difficult because they're a little bit comfortable position than Punjab. They got but 12 points, and I think he got a wonderful side. So I think what regular things they would discuss, just I don't know what exactly, but they everyone each and every knows what role everyone has to play, and I think everyone has done that. That's why Rajasthan Royals are at the at this position, whereas the Punjab teams is concerned, they are inconsistent. In one match they play like the best team in the IPL. In one match they would you know play with like a very team that's ranked at the bottom of the table. So it's been inconsistent performance again.
Mm.
They don't have the that quality of players where you can really rely on and you can say, okay, if my team gets stuck, this is the player who can really like what Rahul Rewati or Rashid Khan would done in the chasing
The
side.
fire,
So
the
but yeah,
firepower.
yeah, right, exactly. So that is what lacking from the Punjab. But for Mayank, yes, of course, it is difficult. And I think, to be honest, it's not the first time they're in this position. Even in the past season, it has happened. Like Punjab has, been in this season almost all the season. If I remember, only the 2014 season where there is the finals and the first season where there is the playoffs. That was the season I would say, that was extremely good for them. Otherwise, they would always get, in this position. And at this, it's like at the last match, they have to win at any cost, else they don't finish the playoffs. And I think that's what it looks like it happened. Again, for now onwards, all the matches for Punjab is do or die. And it just get even tougher with when they're playing teams like Rajasthan Royals. So even Rajasthan would like to win this game and to make almost seal the berth for the playoff because it's also high time for them. They won I guess two losses in a row. So I think they also want to have because when they started off the campaign, Rajasthan Royals were looking like the extraordinary team, the team that can win the IPL, and everyone was a bit scared of them. I mean, with the
Exactly.
Jose Butler thing and Yuzvendra Chahal and or the bowling line.
Yeah,
So I
just on
think
that
they have.
on, just on that for worry for me with Rajasthan Royals is when Josh Butler gets out early, it looks very thin to me. If
Exactly. In the
he,
previous match also, we saw that
yeah,
the moment KKR got that big wicket of Josh Butler, suddenly Rajasthan Royals were looking not that indomitable as they were presumed to be in the beginning of the tournament.
that's bound to happen with somebody who's dominating. But what what I'm trying to say here is that even if he bats a 62 ball 72, just having him there makes the others play around him. There was one game where he went at about a 120 strike rate because the wicket was a bit dodgy, so he took his time. I'm not saying that if he gets a 60 ball 120, then the game is over. But if he gets a 60 ball 75, but people bat around him and know how to get them to 170. But when he gets out early, when he's back in the dugout, then I'm not so sure they have the ammunition to go to 170.
Okay, indeed. So let's just see what happens in the Punjab and Rajasthan match. Moving on to match number two for today's weekend blockbuster. It is the Kolkata Knight Riders taking on the Lucknow Super Giants for the very first time, where it's almost till the middle of the business. Both the teams will be locking horns today for the first time. There's KL Rahul on the other side versus Shreyas Iyer, two very promising batsmen for the Indian team. Abhijit sir, I'll begin with you. The two teams have already played matches, but for the first time, they'll be facing each other. Your thoughts on their mindsets? How will they come into their game tonight?
I think for LSG, of course, it will be just another game. I think for both the sides rather. But for thinking for the LSG is like they're like in the top four, and for KKR, it's they're not playing well. So I think it's more pressure game for them because just like Punjab, they have to win each and every game from.
Exactly.
So looking at the performance of LSD, they're excellent. They're doing well. All the departments are taking well. I think they won't have much pressure. So if you ask
Uh,
me, so LSD will be slightly, a relief. Uh, but KKR, we know it's a good side. Always they can surprise anyone. They're two-time champions, so they got that ability to defeat LSG as well. But one interesting thing will be like Gautam Gambhir will be against his earlier team, so
Absolutely.
that will be an interesting to watch, right,
Yeah, I
Radha?
Exactly.
see it a little. Yeah, I see it a little differently. I see
So,
the pressure being more on Lucknow for the simple reason that they are sort of started well, playing well, expected to be in the playoffs. KKR not playing well, only a miracle will get them there. So they can. I mean, KKR is the defending runner-up. Let's not take that lightly. In the last edition, they only came second best. So out of two
absolutely.
teams, they were out of 8 teams, they were number two. So they are not as bad as people are making them out to be. But they've had a tough season, A. And B, they are in a position where they've got nothing to lose because they know winning 5 out of 5 and now 4 out of 4 is very, very difficult. It's been done before, but it's very difficult. So even if they aren't been able to make it, there will be people who will understand that yeah, they won 3 out of the 5 or 4 out of the 5 and narrowly missed out. Whereas Lucknow has always been in the top four. They're the chosen team for the year. They started well. They've got everybody they want. All the big players, Gautam Gambhir, now, if you so the pressure is on them to be in the top four because they
This is
have
a
raised the
very important
expectation.
point. Yes, sir.
Yeah, they've raised the expectations of the people with the way they've played. And the way
Exactly.
Mumbai, Chennai, and KKR have gone this year, the fans love them. We all support them, but we also know this has not been our year. And it's only a miracle, not for Mumbai, not for Chennai, and not now for KKR, that'll get us in. So I see this a little differently, but I agree with Abhijit on these points. Yeah, very valid
Yeah,
points.
I think one more point I would like to add is I
So,
think LSG has played really well this season. Even if I mean that's very rare possibility now, they can't qualify for the playoff. But even if they don't qualify, so far their journey has been really good. It's a new team. It's very difficult, to first of all to get the combination of 11 players right, and then to be in the winning momentum. I remember the first match of against Gujarat Titans, first ball of the tournament, and KL Rahul got out on Mohammad Shami's delivery. So imagine you're playing the first delivery of the season, and that's the worst possible start you can imagine. That happened to them. They lost the first match, and then after that they made a really good comeback. So it's really all kudos to all the efforts taken by the LSG team members, the support staff, and to get LSG to this thing. And if they qualify for the playoff, that will be a very big thing to qualify in the first round.
True. First time, with not much history, a new team, new support staff to get everybody going. I've been a part of IPL teams for long. I think the most important thing is for the support staff and the players and everybody to gel, be in the same page. That seems to be the most important, glue in the tournament, because you the domestic players come 7 days before the tournament, the stars come 2 days before. So whatever bonding has to happen during the tournament. This is not the Indian cricket team where you spend 9 months a year together.
Absolutely.
And also, when you are in the team, you're constantly playing, flying out, hotel, practice, play, practice. So there is not a lot of time. This time, in fact, with the bubble and no flying and restrictive venues, there's more time for bonding. Sometimes I wouldn't even see some of the players unless I saw them in the team bus, either going to the ground or going to the airport or in the plane, in the lounge again. So this is it. But now in the team room, every team has a team room where there's a snooker table and a table tennis board and darts and PSP and just hangout room. It's a huge room. So I'm thinking that a lot more teams are spending time in their team room than they would back in the day because you need rest. Matches finish at 12 o'clock. Bus rolls are at 1 o'clock. You go to sleep at 2 o'clock. Next day, 5 or 4 o'clock flight. You go there. Next day, practice play. So it's a really tough schedule. Really tough one.
I'd just like to add,
Okay.
since
Yes, sir.
the
Yes, sir.
match
Absolutely,
is
sir.
going to be in Pune, the news I got is both the teams are coming from Mumbai and they're going back to Mumbai. The match that's
So you
That's
can
happening.
an
So
imagine.
again,
exciting school.
yeah. So again, that's the traveling. So you can imagine, the players after the match they goes on. Probably they'll reach by 3 or 4 a.m. That's the cycle they have to build. So I think
It's a
really,
tough one.
how hard, it was there.
It's a tough one.
Okay, so before we come to the end of this show, one thing that I would like to ask again an open house question, beginning with Abhijit sir. That is, in last night's match, we saw that Daniel Sams, just a month back, he had conceded those 35 runs of Pat Cummins, and he was like completely lambasted and all. And last night, he was the hero for Mumbai Indians. A shocking of a win they got. So, don't you think Pat Cummins should be backed now? Isn't it high time that Kolkata Knight Riders brought in Pat Cummins?
And I think it's
Abhijit,
not only about Pat Cummins or Daniel Sam. It's every player you have to back. I think if
absolutely.
even if he's playing good or bad, you have to back him up. That's how you create the character. I remember the first match itself, Daniel Sams dropped the catch of I forgot his name from the Delhi Capitals, so which almost cost them the match. Else, Mumbai would have won the match at the first day itself. But I think these things happen. This is a part and parcel. I mean, we as a human, we also make a lot of things, and then you have to, I mean, cricket and every sports, it gives you that platform to come back and to show that it was just a bad day. I think everyone has bad day. It was same for Daniel Sams and Pat Cummins. We know he's the world class cricketer, the captain of Test team of Australia. I think one of the best
And,
cricketing mind right now. So I think it's all
and that's the
for us not
reason you
only.
play the game. Abhijit, we
Yeah,
play the game for
yeah,
this. You know,
yeah.
there'll be more bad days than good, but the good days make up for the bad days. And when you have a 35 run over, all those years in time in the gym, in training, in fitness, in bowling in the nets, everything, feels futile. But on a day like yesterday, all the jigsaw puzzle comes together. And that's where you feel. That's the reason why this game is such a great leveler. That's why don't fly too high when you're doing too well and don't dip too low when you're doing badly. All the greatest players maintain a nice equilibrium, whether they are really doing well or not doing well, because they know that both will come in abundance.
Completely.
Extremely important points made by our panelists in today's show. So before we call it the end, prediction time. Punjab versus Rajasthan. Jaideep sir,
Yeah, I went with Rajasthan last night. I'm going to stick to that.
Rajasthan.
Rajasthan,
Abhijit
Rajasthan,
sir,
Rajasthan. No doubt.
Rajasthan. Okay.
Yep.
And the second match, Lucknow and Kolkata. Abhijit sir this time first.
No, I'm just going with the form for LSG. Sorry, Rana.
No, no, I
The
understand.
LSG
I
team is
would if
playing. Their team
no,
looks,
I would
to be
on
honest.
form. I would also go with Lucknow. It's just that I am from Kolkata. It's a Kolkata team, so I'm going with it. But every other way, I would also go with Lucknow. But Kolkata is a dangerous team with backs to the wall.
Come on,
You know,
Jaideep sir. Don't betray us.
I'm
Come
going with
on, it's
Kolkata.
KKR. Yes,
Kolkata,
sir.
Kolkata.
That's
I'm
the
going with
spirit.
Kolkata. Yes,
That's
yes.
the
Yeah, I'm
spirit.
always,
Yes.
always, always, always.
So it was fun talking to our
But I won't
gentlemen
be
today.
surprised.
Our guests
Won't be
today. Yes,
surprised
sir.
if I wouldn't be surprised if KKR defeats LSG. They're a great team.
Yeah, they
So
have they,
and
they,
it's a
they,
team.
they have the capability. They have the
Yeah,
capability.
definitely.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah,
KKR,
Absolutely.
if they bowl well, they'll win the game. because their batting is an issue. You might be thinking, why am I saying this? If they're chasing 155, 160, it's okay. If it goes beyond 170 or 180, then I think it'll be difficult. So if the bowlers do well, the batters do well, because
I
that's
think
that much
last two
less to
matches,
target.
last two matches
Yes,
on the Pune, you haven't changed it. You haven't chased it well. I mean, not
yeah,
only when it
yeah,
was CSK and again RCB and other matches.
yeah.
It's difficult to chase on the Pune pitch from the last two
That's
matches.
right. That's right.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you so much. With this, we come to the end of the show. See you tonight in the post-match show. It's Punjab versus Rajasthan taking on each other now. Let's enjoy the game. Until then, thank you so much for joining and see you tonight in the post-match show. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. See you.
Thank
See
you.
you after the game. Bye.
See you.